The sun was still rising over the city, painting the sky in soft hues of gold and pink. But inside Adrian Hale's chest, a storm was brewing. He wasn't supposed to be back at Mercy Hill Hospital. He had left only an hour before, just enough time to shower and grab some files for work. But a whisper, a cold, tightening grip on his soul, had pulled him back. He ran through the sliding glass doors, his footsteps echoing against the sterile silence of the hallway. The light stretching across the floor should have felt peaceful, turning the corridor into a sanctuary. But to Adrian, it felt like a warning. He didn't know why he was running, only that something terrible was waiting for him behind the door of room 218. He reached the door, his hand trembling on the handle, and when he pushed it open, that dark instinct proved right in the most devastating way imaginable. What Adrian saw in that room didn't just break his heart, it shattered his entire reality. His mother, Eleanor, a fragile woman in her 70s who had always been stronger than she looked, lay helpless in her hospital bed, and bending over her, gripping a pillow with trembling, white-knuckled hands, was his wife, Marissa. The pillow was pressed hard against Eleanor's face, muffling her weak, desperate breaths. Before we continue to see how a split-second decision changed 3 lives forever. If you believe in the power of second chances and standing up for the ones you love, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And tell us in the comments, where in the world are you watching from today? Marissa looked up, and she looked different. Her usually calm expression was twisted into an anger Adrian had never seen before, her eyes burning with a volatile mixture of fear and desperation. For a split second, his mind refused to comprehend the scene. He knew Marissa struggled with stress. He knew she blamed Eleanor for their financial issues. He knew their marriage had been rocky for months. But this was beyond a nightmare. As the pillow slipped from Marissa's hands and Eleanor gasped for air, the spell broke. Adrian rushed to his mother's side. The heart monitor beeped frantically, a chaotic rhythm to match his own pulse. He leaned over her, gently helping her breathe again, smoothing back her hair as tears threatened to blind him. The daylight filtering through the window seemed to freeze in place, casting the room in a surreal, horrifying glow. Marissa stood frozen near the bed, her chest heaving as she backed away. She couldn't justify what she had done. She couldn't even meet Adrian's horrified eyes. In that moment, Adrian felt as if the woman he had married no longer existed, replaced by a stranger whose pain had morphed into something dangerous. But this wasn't just a sudden snap. This was the explosion of a bomb that had been ticking for years. Adrian had spent his life caught between responsibility and guilt. Eleanor had raised him alone, working double shifts so he could attend college. She had sacrificed her youth for him, and he always felt he owed her more than he could ever repay. When he married Marissa, he hoped life would finally settle. He hoped love would fill the spaces that hardship once occupied. And at first it did. Marissa was kind, elegant, and supportive. But when Adrian's business struggled and they moved in with Eleanor, the foundation cracked. Tensions rose, tempers flared. Unresolved resentment began to rot the edges of their home. Marissa never forgot the humiliation of leaning on his mother for help, and Eleanor never forgot how Marissa often dismissed her quietly behind closed doors. Standing now in the hospital room, with the sunlight warming the floor but freezing his heart, Adrian felt the pieces of his world crumble. Nurses rushed in, followed by security. Marissa was gently but firmly escorted out, her face pale as chalk, her whispers trembling with apologies that Adrian wasn't ready to hear. As the room quieted, Eleanor's breathing slowly steadied, though her eyes were clouded with confusion and hurt. Adrian took her hand, feeling her fragile fingers curl faintly around his. He wanted to cry. He wanted to scream. He wanted to rewind time to undo the choices that had led them all here. But he couldn't change the past. He could only face the reality in front of him. Adrian knew he had to make decisions he never imagined making. He reported the incident, not out of vengeance, but because his mother's safety was non-negotiable. He spent the next several hours by Eleanor's side, gently reassuring her, telling her she mattered, that she wasn't alone. The guilt in him was heavy. He had married someone who allowed resentment to twist her soul, and he hadn't seen it early enough. Yet, beneath the guilt was a new resolve. He would not let pain win again. He wouldn't allow the bitterness that had consumed Marissa to enter his life any longer. As Eleanor slowly regained her strength, she squeezed Adrian's hand and whispered something that stunned him. She didn't blame him. Her voice was faint under the mid-morning sunlight, but it held more strength than he expected. She told him that sometimes love blinds people. Sometimes hurt turns people into versions of themselves they don't recognize. But she looked at him with soft, trembling eyes and said that forgiveness didn't mean staying in harm's way. It meant freeing yourself from the chains of what broke you. Adrian realized in that moment that healing wasn't just for his mother. It was for him, too. Weeks passed. With therapy, space, and legal help, Adrian rebuilt the quiet balance of his life. The daylight hours felt warm again. Eleanor grew stronger, and Adrian found comfort in caring for her the way she once cared for him. And though part of him mourned the collapse of his marriage, another part breathed with relief, knowing the storm had finally passed. He learned that sometimes life forces you into painful moments only to show you what truly matters. Love that nurtures, not destroys. Family that supports, not drains. And the courage to walk away from what harms your heart. Adrian learned that even the deepest heartbreaks can lead to healing when you choose courage over fear, love over resentment, and hope over despair. His mother became his source of strength once again, her warm smile reminding him that even in the most painful moments, there is always a path forward if only you choose to take it. So, I have to ask you, if you were in Adrian's shoes, could you have walked away from your spouse to protect your parent, or would you have tried to forgive? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and remember, kindness always comes back to you.